want to bring in the man of the hour, my former co-host, political analyst, Melik Abdul. What's happening,
Oh,
my man? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My man is frozen again. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There you go. How you doing, man?
it has to be StreamYard because this never happens. I don't know what's going on. It never happens with Skype, Zoom, or anything else. I don't understand what's going on
To be
with
fair, it could
StreamYard.
be, some systems have like for example, some of this software, I remember I was building this application called Connected Rewards. And it was, when you go into shopping malls today, you have these little things that people can use. So we were building that before they were building that. The guy who I was working with, Don, had the idea like years before they had got those things in stores. And I was building the application out for him. And, he was one of these people who had all of these ideas. And the moment that he has a software engineer, he wants to do all of these ideas at once, which means he doesn't get nothing done. It's like, oh, change this, update this, tweak this, let's do this. But effectively, though, I had to rebuild that application because it was sending too much data and it was slowing down the
Mm.
application. So it's possible that StreamYard may be sending more data than some of the other applications in the way that the applications use. I had to convert it while I was using almost like, it wasn't buffering, but it was kind of like buffering. It was
Okay.
using small amounts of data in chunks that could be expanded once the data was sent over to the server side in order to speed up I'm sorry, this is software stuff. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
hey,
sorry.
we're here for now. It's not buffering right now, so we're good.
Yeah. What's up? Fair enough. Fair enough. How you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I am glad you're doing good. You look good. Everything is great. Let's talk politics. So
Okay.
Donald Trump, who is not even president yet, has been making a huge amount of waves. That is to put it mildly. And one of the interesting things that has come out is apparently they just had a meeting recently where they're talking about strategy to get policy accomplished. Basically, we're going to get something done. And, before I get to that, did you see at the funeral Obama sitting beside a Nazi? And when he was sitting beside that Nazi, how Obama was talking to that Nazi and laughing with that Nazi and that Nazi who was about to take over America and destroy American democracy, that all of these guys were just having a great time with that Nazi. This is the Jimmy Carter funeral. Look at what's happening here. They said this man was going to end America.
And most of them were in the same room. Was in 2018 at the funeral of George H.W.
They
Bush.
seem to be having a great
President Trump was
conversation.
in office then.
Look at that, Obama
One
is
person missing.
he's laughing it up. Bush doesn't look happy.
And most of them were in the same room. Was in 2018
But
at the funeral of
Obama
George
and
H.W.
Trump
Bush.
looks like they are having a good old time. And you know what's funny too? Kamala Harris and her husband did not look happy. They did not look happy. They looked like they were pissed. Also, apparently Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't get along all that well. So they didn't get along. And I think Malik is frozen once again.
Here we go.
Yeah, StreamYard. Yeah, StreamYard. Yeah, they didn't look happy. I mean, like Obama and Trump seemed to be the two that was the most happiest at the funeral, weirdly enough. My take on that was fuck those guys. Because, when Jimmy Carter was alive, they didn't want to have anything to do with Jimmy Carter. If you notice, Carter wasn't at Obama's inauguration, or if that mattered, even nomination. He wasn't anywhere near Bill Clinton. They kept him away as if he was radioactive. And now that he's died, all of a sudden, all of them show up to his funeral, and Joe Biden gives a eulogy. He wasn't even at Joe Biden's inauguration. They want nothing to do with Jimmy Carter. My point of view is fuck those guys. I'm sorry. I know that sounds brutal, but it's like, for political reasons, you kept that man at arm's length the entire time. And now, at his funeral, you're going to get out there and basically show up as if, you were there his entire life. It's like, who you playing that role for? But I'm sorry.
Yep.
Give me your take on these guys hanging out with this Hitler type character that they've defined as Hitler that's going to end American democracy in 2 weeks.
So I think the important thing here is that people should see this as an example of what politicians do all the time. They may make a front. They may front on, national television, but behind closed doors. And we've heard this many times where, it's like, well, they're friends behind closed doors. A lot of
Yep.
this stuff that you see is for us. It is for us to respond to, get mad that someone said this or that. But at the end of the day, you're going to dinner together. Even though they didn't have a contentious relationship, remember, what was that? Justice Ginsburg and who was that? The one who died. I can't even remember. Scalia. They had a
Right.
very close relationship despite being at ideological opposite ends of the spectrum. And I think that that was a genuine relationship. Now, Donald Trump and Barack Obama aren't friends, but obviously they believed in being friendly. And in fact, I think what you saw from Donald Trump is what you would see with Donald Trump with anyone who receives him in a respectful way. You've heard him say before, well, they were nice to me. Donald Trump
Yeah.
is not naturally just a nasty person. A lot of times he's responding to the energy. And you saw Kamala Harris there. She just looked upset. Now, I will give her a pass. A lot of people have been making a big deal about her, not speaking when she came out. I'm pretty sure that all of them had a conversation before they came out to the funeral, because for those VIPs, they were in a holding room. So they may have had conversations there. I don't think that she needed to necessarily be yapping it up, because we saw Barack Obama and Donald Trump doing that themselves. So you didn't need everybody there yapping it up. But I think that that was a moment, and you're right, Carter didn't attend Donald Trump's inauguration, and it was clear that he didn't support him. And even George Bush, I'm sure that he had a conversation with Donald Trump behind, in the ante room or wherever they were. But I thought that at least for Barack Obama specifically, especially with the campaign that Barack Obama ran against Donald Trump, attacking him, as you said, as Hitler, attacking his supporters as Nazis, I thought that was a good moment. Barack Obama did what obviously Michelle Obama wasn't able to do. Now, people can say, well, she was on vacation. That's not surgery. That's a vacation, which means you have all of the resources in the world at your disposal, being a former first lady of the United States. Your husband is still under Secret Service protection. Obviously, Michelle Obama, at the drop of a dime, could have changed her plans, hopped on a plane, and came to the funeral. So I am absolutely fine with Michelle Obama. She's still mad, much like Kamala. I'm fine with her not being there, and I hope that she doesn't go to the inauguration. So we won't be talking about.
Wait, mad at what?
Because so you remember, like, Michelle Obama's, even when Donald Trump was in office, but definitely after 2020, she's been very, very I don't want to use the word angry, but she's been something over the past couple of years where she seems to have taken these things personally in a way that most politicians typically don't. Like Barack Obama. Think about Donald Trump said Barack Obama wasn't even born in this country.
I know.
Think about the number of things that not just Donald Trump said about Barack Obama, but Barack Obama said about Donald Trump. They were seated beside literally, they were seated beside each other, and they were able to get over themselves. And it wasn't just because they were presidents of the United States. It's a personality thing. And I think that for Michelle Obama and probably Kamala Harris and many other, remember, Oprah Winfrey said that if you vote for Donald Trump, there's a possibility that you may not be able to vote again. So I think that there are a lot of Black women, specifically because they said it right after the election, we're going to sip tea and watch the country burn because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. So I think that Michelle Obama she doesn't like Donald Trump. She probably doesn't like Melania Trump, and she doesn't want to be around them. And I think that is absolutely fine. Keep that negative energy at home. We didn't need to see that.
I guess my thing is, I feel so kind of weird about the fact that, and I didn't mean Bush wasn't at Carter's. I mean, that Carter wasn't at Bush's inauguration or Trump's inauguration. I mean, for Democrats. I mean, like Obama, Clinton kept Carter at arm's length. It wasn't.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Like if you think of like when Al Gore was running his presidential bid, Carter wasn't there. When Bill Clinton, Carter wasn't there. When Obama, Carter wasn't there. Like, meaning for all of these other Democratic presidents, you did bring out Bill Clinton for Obama. You didn't bring out Jimmy Carter. And so it's like now you're showing up at the man's funeral as if you guys have been together all along. Nonsense. This wasn't the case. Like, I feel like this is, too little too late. Don't show up at my funeral to give me flowers if you didn't care about me over the course of my lifetime. That's the way I looked at it. I was like, yeah, I get it, right? You're the president, so you're going to go to the president's funeral. It's a shocking thing when the president dies, even if the president's 150 years old, because we have so few of them. Fair enough. I don't know. I just.
But you know what? But that's actually a very good point, because I think what you're talking about is that they did not embrace Jimmy Carter as the former president of the United States in the same way that Democrats embraced Bill Clinton or Republicans embraced Ronald Reagan. They did not have that same sort of relationship with Carter, who after, and as everyone says, it's pretty much a consensus, who led a life post-presidency from his humanitarian efforts and all of that stuff. Like, he lived a great life post-presidency. His presidency itself was a problem, though.
Yeah, Margaret Kimberly was on the show, and she wrote the book Prejudicial, and she kind of gave this synopsis of Jimmy Carter. I think everyone owns up to the fact that he was a good man, ultimately, especially after office. But in office, he had some difficulties, especially this transition of Democrats away from, I mean, you may not agree with it, but this transition away from this kind of New Deal politics of an FDR era into this kind of new Bill Clinton era of third way Democrats, that I would argue is part of the reason that they've lost the working class. I mean, one of the stats that came out the other day was just damning. And it pointed out, for the first time since 1960s, Republican Party was able to take the working class vote. People who were making under $50,000 went to the Republican Party, as opposed to people who were making like over $100,000 going to Democrats. That's a flip in what typically happens, because under normal, iconography, normal circumstances of things, the Republican Party is seen as a party of the rich. This time around, Trump was able to take that demographic. And I would, from my point of view, that is a Bill Clinton arc where the public started to realize, oh, Democrats are the party of the elites. And it made it worse through Obama, made it worse through Kamala Harris. And I'm realizing that Obama just had a political charisma about him that many of these other people just didn't have. Like, he had a political charisma that allowed him to carry the party in a way to win 2 elections that Biden, or for that matter, Harris, just didn't have. So I don't know. It's just wild to me. And I wanted to point that out because they call that man everything but a child of God. And then they're sitting there hamming it up with him.
Remember what, and I know we're going to go to the some of the other topics, but remember what happened almost immediately after the election. We got the news that Mika and Joe went down to Mar-a-Lago. Their show was ground zero for anti-Trump, and they said, "Well, they pretty much said we went down and kissed the ring."
Yep.
And I think that's all because they want to be able to have access to Donald Trump as president of the United States. And it would not surprise me if in that discussion, a conversation was had that they want to interview the president, Donald Trump, when he becomes president of the United States. It wasn't just because things are changing. There's a reason that they did that. But if you have Mika and Joe kissing the ring, then you know something is up.
I mean, and they were attacked for that. I mean, like, people, Democrats flipped out. How dare you do that? How dare you go and talk to that man? I mean, you got all of these women, Whoopi Goldberg, saying men aren't getting any more coochie from her. And it's like, it's like, like, who? Like, Whoopi Goldberg out here like that, where she can shut her snapper, and guys are like, oh my God, Whoopi Goldberg is not giving it up no more. Yeah, man, they were freaking out. Black women felt some kind of way about that loss. But Trump is trying to enact his strategy or his policies. And so he goes to the Republican Party and that they have a meeting, a conference.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this kind of disagreement on, okay, how do we get our agenda passed? Do we do it in one big bill, kind of using budget reconciliation? That's the thing that Democrats typically use when they try to get something with a 50-vote majority. Or do we break it up into two bills? Now, Trump is like, I could care less. I just want my agenda passed. Just get it done. What is this agenda that he is trying to get accomplished? Or
Well, I
do we
think
even know at this point?
Well, it's ever evolving. Obviously, that there are things that Donald Trump is going to focus on day one around immigration, doing the things that he can through executive order, because Congress is a much different animal. He's going to do some things around executive orders when it comes to immigration, probably other things that he can do around education, maybe throw in some of this other stuff. A lot of the focus, and this is what he did back in 2017 when he got in office, it was his 100-day plan. All presidents have this 100-day plan because it's like a marker.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of cuts and regulations, a lot of proposals to end this. He's going to almost every single negative from his perspective executive order that Biden signed on day one. He's going to go and overturn, just rescind those executive orders, which is
Oh, that's bad. That's a bad freeze. That's a bad freeze. Come on back.
oh, am I still freezing?
Yeah, that's bad. Oh, there you are. No, you're fine. Keep going.
Oh, wow. So he's going to do some of that type of stuff. All presidents actually do this, rescinding all Biden's executive orders, at least the negative ones. He's going to be able to do that on day one. But Donald Trump is going to have, and I think the budget battle kind of showed us that Donald Trump may have issues with his own caucus because he can only lose one. And in fact, it's going to end up being two after, because Elise Stefanik, she's now going to be the ambassador. So that's actually going to leave Republicans down too. So that means that he can't even lose more than two people in all of these sort of battles. And so I think that he's going to see some pushback from the Freedom Caucus. He's going around attacking Chip Roy. And I'm sure you've seen, and I have just been laughing at it. You see how now Thomas Massie is now the evil person in Congress because he's essentially done the same thing that Congress Massey has been doing for years. But now that Donald Trump is coming back into office, everybody, the same people who amplified Thomas Massey saying, let's shut the government down, these same people now have turned against Thomas Massey, just like they turned against Chip Roy, just like they turned against Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace and Chip Roy being two of the people who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy. They turned on them. And so you're going to see a lot of people turning on a dime, not just because Donald Trump may have changed his position, but to appeal to Elon Musk. And I encourage you guys out there, an article that I wrote in the Washington Examiner, it dropped on Tuesday. It was about the Republican Party's Elon Musk. It was the Republican Party's Elon Musk problem. So I dropped it. Now, unfortunately, it ended up dropping at the same time that we got the fire. So it kind of, that story itself has been pushed to the back burner. But it talks about the problem that we're going to have with Elon Musk and how conservative influencers also are impacted by Elon Musk because what they've decided to do is will tag Elon Musk. Members of Congress would tag Elon Musk because they want the attention. And the problem that you have with people like Elon Musk, aside from him being a billionaire influencing politics for the same party who for years have treated George Soros of all the billionaire. How dare Democrats, he's these prosecutors and attorney generals around this, country. The same people who attacked George Soros are now praising Elon Musk, and so that he can amplify anything that they're doing. Elon Musk, I think that it's going to be an eventual problem for Donald Trump because you saw what he did around the whole H-1B H-1B visa issue,
Yep.
where it wasn't Elon Musk decided to then turn on the same people. Now, Elon Musk says, oh no, we got to get all this racism and all of this stuff out of Twitter. These people need to be purged from the Republican Party because Indian Americans felt impacted or felt, like they were being slighted. These Elon Musk and these same people who talked about the Indians, they didn't seem to have a problem though with the talking about Haitians eating dogs and cats.
They did not.
Nothing was racial in that at all, and you didn't see Elon Musk nor any of these people who were standing up for the Indian community. You didn't see any of them doing that when it comes to Haitian Americans. Well, we already know why, because they were Haitian Americans and not Indians. And I think that exposed something within Trump world that's going to have to be resolved. And I'll say, and I even mentioned this in the article, that the fact Donald Trump didn't come out and defend his own supporters after Elon attacked them, that will spell a problem for Donald Trump and possibly cause an issue between Donald Trump and his own base. Because we, and I say this as the 3-time Trump voter, we didn't vote for Elon Musk.
That's right.
So we don't need to follow Elon Musk on anything, but what you have the article.
Come on, Malik. Come on.
Oh, this is just terrible.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But
yeah, I've had people since the article dropped hit me up saying the Republican Party, Donald Trump would not have won without Elon Musk. And I asked them,
I don't buy that.
And I asked them, okay, explain to me what it is that you think Elon Musk, he has Twitter. I said, those are for monetization purposes. That has nothing to do with the campaign. And let's be clear, Elon Musk was dancing around with Ron DeSantis early on in the primary. It wasn't until after Donald Trump won the primary, after Donald Trump won the debate against Joe Biden, on the day that Donald Trump, the first attempted assassination against Donald Trump, that's when Elon Musk decided to support Donald Trump. All the work had already been done by then. So I encourage people who think that Elon Musk has played some sort of integral role, not just in the Donald Trump campaign, but in Republican politics, to just show me something. Show me something where between July 13th, which was the day that Elon Musk endorsed Donald Trump, and November 4th, show me what is it that Elon Musk could have done that we didn't already do before he got there. And I get no answer on that, except people just saying, well, we just need to thank Elon Musk. No, you're thanking Elon Musk because if he retweets you, that will get you a lot of engagement on your post or help in your monetization purposes. That's the benefit of Elon Musk. It has nothing to do with the Republican Party. It has nothing to do with even being supportive of Donald Trump, because Elon Musk, the billionaire tech bro as he is, can decide tomorrow, I ain't interested in this no more. And then we're going to be left standing.
Elon Musk is a tick on the ass of Trump. He's a parasite. It has nothing. And I'm being very serious about this. He has, they have inverted the power structure here. It's not that Trump needs Elon Musk. It's the other way around. Elon Musk is looking at Trump as for political clout and for monetary value, knowing full well that being that close to power, he could influence politics in a way that makes him more money. He's gone up, $100 billion? He's nearly at $500 billion. And of course, the policies that Donald Trump is going to put in, Elon Musk is going to be in Trump's ear in order to make those things to his advantage and to his benefit. Those people who think that Elon Musk or that Trump needs him, they're out of their minds. As you pointed out, Trump won that election when he got shot. I'd go far. I'd even say that. And I suspect that Elon Musk knew that, understood the gravity of that particular moment, and lumped into the Trump campaign for that. I have zero idea what they believe he would have. If he gave him $50 million, okay, but Trump would have gotten that money anyway. He could have gotten that money anyway. Adelson's wife gave him $100 million or some insane amount of money like that. They are getting this monstrously wrong if they honestly believe that the tech bro, or that Trump somehow needs the tech bro. They're getting this way wrong. Elon Musk.
And I also say that Donald Trump and Republicans, being led by Elon Musk, are misreading his actual mandate. Now, I'm one of those who thinks that any president who wins has a mandate. I don't care if you just win the popular vote or or the electoral vote. Every president who wins has a mandate to do things. I think that Donald Trump, they're reading the room wrong by assuming that the 76 million people who voted for Donald Trump are so concerned about weeding out DEI in our federal government, or are so concerned about Greenland, or are so concerned about Panama, or are so concerned about Governor Trudeau in the state of Canada. No, not every person who voted for Donald Trump even cares about that. And I hear from people, okay, so when are we going to start talking about these lowering prices that Donald Trump campaigned on? That's what people care about. And when I say that Republicans are misreading the electorate, there is a potential that we go into next year, which is 2026, the midterms, and the Republicans are just assuming that, oh, well, all of these fight the woke, fight the DEI that used to be critical race theory, that's something that's going to drive people to the polls in 2026. If Donald Trump has not made any movement around the economy, immigration, and some of these other things, the very things that people said they had a problem with, come 2026, Republicans with already a 1 or 3 or so seat majority in Congress, in the House, they risk losing the House. I don't think that they're going to lose the Senate, but they risk losing the House simply because they misread the electorate.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, Canada, Greenland, and Panama didn't come up during the election. That wasn't litigated. That wasn't something like, it wasn't like he was on the debate stage and was like, and yeah, we're going to liberate Panama. That never came up. That's some nonsense that came up at the end now. And I agree with you. Trump got elected because the working class thought my wages were higher, my bills were less when he was in office. It was just that. There was no magic to it. It wasn't that they loved him. It wasn't that they even needed to like him. Kamala Harris ran around with Liz Cheney and wasn't giving this message that went to the working class. I mean, that stat was showing the working class moving to the Republican Party nails it. Now, if he is going to waste all of this time with Greenland and Canada and whatever other nonsense, I even think this notion of ending the war was part of it. This thing, I'm going to stop wars, not start wars. I think that was something that resonated. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I agree with you on this. They may be misreading the room. I don't even think the public cares all that much about the DEI stuff, to be honest.
They don't. They don't. No, the public doesn't care about DEI in the same way that the public didn't care about critical race theory. Because you notice we spent a whole election cycle and nothing about critical race theory, because then that shifted to DEI. And as we have seen for conservatives, DEI means, if they start with DEI means black and unqualified, then it's anybody who's not conservative. Then it's anybody who's not conservative, white, male, and heterosexual. That's how, or woman. Yeah, that is that's what DEI now means. And having Pete Hegseth, which is why I said that I thought he would have been better at the Department of Veterans Affairs, saying that
that they're going to get rid of it in the military or something. Come on.
It's coming. It's trying. It keeps
buffering out.
What they need to do is figure out, why can't you pass an audit? I think that the American people would be much more concerned about that than rooting out DEI in the military.
Because I think what political parties miss sometimes is that the public would allow you your own pet project as long as you're doing the thing that they care about. Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost like there's always a leaky bucket. Like, I would accept, like, for example, you could accept somebody like Sanders pushing in a certain direction that you may not all that much care about, as long as he's cutting your costs. as long as he's ensuring that he's doing the things that he said he was going to do over the course of the election cycle. I think the same thing is true for Republicans. They would accept this kind of pet peeve of the DEI stuff as long as you are increasing wages, as long as you're lowering their costs, lowering inflation. Like, they would allow you this kind of fluff on the side as long as you're doing the main thing. But if that is the thrust of your campaign, no. I don't think nobody gives a shit about the DEI stuff.
You've actually, because you've said it before, you used to talk about it a lot on the show, how if Americans saw where their money was going and they felt like, okay, well, we're getting free healthcare, and it's actually a good system, people would care. People would be okay with the amount of money that we're spending, but we're not okay with it simply because this money just goes towards the military-industrial complex and all of these other things that aren't taking care of the actual citizens.
Yeah, I spend $1,000 for the month, and I got rent, and I got somewhere to stay, and I got food on the plate. Okay, well, that's a good waste of that money. If I don't have anywhere to live and I spent $1,000, like, what the hell? Where did my money go? People gonna feel some kind of way about it. Melik, man, I always enjoy having you on the show, and you always give a great breakdown of this stuff, especially what is going on in Republican circles. What is the name of that article again, so people would know it? It was in Washington.
It is in the Washington Examiner, the Republican Party's Elon Musk problem. And I was going to announce that I was going to be back on CNN tonight.
How did it go last time, by the way?
It was actually good, but so I was checking an email. They booked me to come up to New York tonight to go on Abby's 10 o'clock show, but I just got the email that they're going to have to cancel it because of the fires. Everybody just really talking about the fires. But what he said is in the email is that if you still want to come to New York, the room is booked and the train is all yours. So I'll be going to New York just because.
So I'm going to be going to DC for the inauguration.
Okay.
Caleb wants me to speak at one of his conventions. I've never spoken at a convention before, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know, man. I'm sorry, going to DC, right?" I was like, "Oh man, that is going to be a madhouse being in DC." But Caleb has come on the show so many times that I told him I'd do it.
It's going to be a madhouse.
It's going to be a madhouse. I am not looking forward to that madhouse. The speaking thing is a little bit weird. I never did a speaking.
You would be absolutely fine. What is it? Speaking on what?
Caleb is trying. It's funny. Caleb is one of these people that they always get him wrong, because they always, like Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur recently has been trying to make inroads on the right. It's not that he's changing his policies. He's just saying, okay, maybe I'm getting this wrong. Maybe we do need to reach out, and maybe we do need to try to, like, all of these people who are on the right, maybe all of these people are not hardcore right wingers. Some of these people might be lefties in a cloak because they're going for workers' rights and everything else, and they went to the Republican Party for a lot of this worker stuff. And so the cultish left has been attacking him for it, basically saying he's grifting, he's trying to go to the right, he's a Nazi. I mean, they're losing their minds on this stuff, right? They do the same thing for Caleb. And Caleb is basically a communist. The guy, like the idea that the guy is a hardcore right winger is out of his mind. But he's willing to try to make inroads. And so they always attack him for it. So he has been trying to make this bridge to Donald Trump, effectively saying, we need a more peaceful world. And if you indeed believe and are serious about trying to end wars and not start them, then we need to be open to that. We shouldn't be reflexively against them when he's coming into office. Basically, we should be this kind of bridge to allow him the space to do that. So the event is trying to do that, trying to create the space and this, I guess, this vocal hope that he will follow through with this plan of, I'm going to end wars, not start wars. So I will be there.
That's dope.
On the 20th, and we're going to be at one of the hotels in DC. So I told him I'd do it. But I'm glad you're going to be. So you're going to New York to have a little trip. Have fun, man.
I'm just going to have a free trip, but I will be going up because I had already confirmed for next Wednesday. So I'll be on next. I'm going up there next Wednesday anyway. But you have to have me back post inauguration.
I will. Look, anytime you want to come on the show, man, you have an open spot anytime.
Well, consider it done.
You have a good one, man. Be safe. Enjoy your trip.
All right. All right, take care now.
All right. All right. We have come to the end of a jam-packed show. Oh, wow. Okay. We've come to the end of a jam-packed show. As I said, all super chats will be read, and we have a lot of them today. Thank you. Like I said, buy me a cup of coffee. Look, guys, if you dig this content, like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell. I pop in at all times of the day and night. When real men can't sleep, real men do the news, and you have me here doing the news at all times of the random night. If indeed you love this content, please consider giving through PayPal, Patreon, or for that matter, super chats. All super chats or stickers will be read, providing they're not racist, sexist, or bigoted. Even if you want to take the piss out of me, I will also read that. It could be kind of like a dunking booth. I want to thank all of you for this, and let's go through these now. Nia Kenton. Thanks, Jamal. No, thank you, Lisa Kenton. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys make the show. And I mean that. I mean, it's you effectively pay for the show. Most of these shows are demonetized, or at the very least, the morning shows. So you guys pay for the show. I thank you for it. Mr. Ripley. Mr. Ripley, as a longtime Jill Stein voter, what is this? Long voter, and fan. I gotta say, Trump's shadow presidency hasn't been as bad as I was expecting. As far, just acknowledging Russia's interest in this is huge. Mr. Ripley, grudgingly, yeah, I have to say, agree with you. And I'm saying grudgingly because I'm expecting a lot of horrible stuff to come in this administration. But I guess up to this point, the worst has been the people who he's put into the administration. By the same token, there's some people I like. I like the fact that he got Tulsi Gabbard. I like the fact that he has RFK in that administration. I like some of the things he's been saying on the foreign policy front, not the Greenland stuff. That stuff is just weird. I understand why he's saying it. I mean, obviously, if Macron could come out and say, we are now going to take all of Africa because it is in France's security interest to take all of Africa. Okay, maybe he would do that, but he doesn't do it because France is a shitty military and it couldn't accomplish it. It goes back to this era where we just take what you can take. Might makes right. And the only way you have a country is you have force of arms to defend that country. Is that really the world that we want? Because that is kind of what Trump is insinuating. By the same token, Europe has brought this on themselves. Nobody told them to be vassals. Nobody told them to go from one occupation by Germany to an occupation by America, a soft occupation. Donald Trump is now just rubbing it in their face. Hey, we now need 5% instead of the 2%. We need you to buy our gas or else. We need you to annex your country, or we're going to annex your country, or else we're going to destroy you economically. That is just fucking outrageous. But from standpoint of we need to end this war and talking about it honestly, yes. When you have a war where 1 million people have been killed, it shocks the conscience. And so ending something like that, as opposed to having it continue and continue and continue, when you have these kind of sociopaths at the Washington Post saying it's better to effectively lose it as opposed to having a bad deal, it's like, shut the hell up. So, no, I agree with you, Mr. Ripley. But again, he hasn't even taken office yet. So, trust me, horror awaits. Horror absolutely awaits. Benoit Lapierre, finally, a magnified background. Congrats, brother. Keep going. Good work. And thank you for meaningful today and beyond. Thank you, Lapierre. But no, this is a real background. This is, I'm in a different room. I moved back to Richmond after I lost the job in DC when the radio station folded. All of us effectively were fired. When the radio station went belly up, we were fired on that day. So we went into work that day and left without a job. I was in DC kind of bumming around through Airbnbs. And so I have bummed myself back to Richmond. My ex plays this clip all the time because she thinks it's the funniest thing in the world, where Malik and I are talking, and Malik says, well, what would you be doing if you weren't doing radio? And I pause. I pull the mic close, and I was like, I'd be homeless. She thinks it's funny because I ain't technically homeless. I am at an Airbnb. So, no, this is an Airbnb. I'm going to be in Richmond. I'm probably going to move into an apartment at some point in Richmond. And so the background that you're saying is actually a real wall. But thank you. I agree. It is a much better thing as opposed to the wall of the place in DC. Free Greenland from Danish tyranny. Sparky, Trump may be giving Greenland some freedom. He may be giving them some freedom. We'll see. Free Canada from Castro regime. Again, he may be giving Canada some freedom also, considering the threats that he's been aiming at them about annexation. Sparky, the United States should guarantee Medicare for all, agreed to make them okay with statehood. Other states will then insist on it themselves, a direct way for Medicare for all states. You know what's wild? One of the Canadian provinces came out and was like, hey, America, maybe you should join Canada because all of you would get health care. Wouldn't it be nice to have health care? Wouldn't it be nice to not have your people die 10 years younger? I mean, she was laying it on thick about the services that the United States doesn't have and that deprives the citizens of, as opposed to the ones that Canada do provide for their citizens. She has a point. We have people going to Canada to get insulin. That should tell you something about your own country. Or when you're paying trillions of dollars more than everywhere else for healthcare and your people die 10 years younger, that should tell you something about your country. Something is fundamentally wrong. Sparky, to answer the worker displaced by AI, Soylent Green. Soylent Green. They're people. They're eating people. They're eating people. Just in case people don't get the reference, Soylent Green were people. Soylent Green solves world hunger too. Oh, that's gross. That is gross. What is that movie? Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, where the rich people were in the front parts of the train, the poor people were in the back of the train, and they eventually had them fight it out. And no, I'm thinking of different. Three body. So in Death's End, I believe. Okay, spoiler. In Death's End of that series of books, Earth Remembrance series. I'm getting tired. I must be getting tired. Earth Remembrance series. The third book in that series, the first one was Three Body, the second one was Dark Forest, and the third one was Death's End. A lot of people don't like Death's End. I thought Death's End was fantastic until it gets to the very end of the book. But all three books are fantastic. Dark Forest is mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing. Like, the book is so good. It's so good. Like, yeah, I can listen to that book over and over and over and over again. It's that good. And it's not that, God, man, it's hard to explain. Because there are some people who like sci-fi who hates that book. It has to do with the ideas in that book. It's the concepts. They're so epic. And I think for me, for an American context, it's slightly different because it's a Chinese author. And so there's a different flair to the book than what you would get out of American authors. A cultural flair to it that's kind of hard to put my finger on, but it's there that you see it as you're reading through the book, just in the things that they say, in the perspectives, the weight of the words of the people and the way that they come across. But there's a part of that book where when Earth finally gets taken over because they give it to a woman, DEI candidate, wins the sword holder spot. And when the DEI candidate wins the sword holder spot, I'm saying that jokingly, but when the woman wins the sword holder spot, it is a different time. It is a far more passive time. And in that passive time, she basically gets suckered. Earth gets taken over. She wasn't willing to end the world. In fact, she wasn't willing to end both worlds. Aliens take Earth over, and at a certain point, they move everybody to Australia. So they move the entire planet just to Australia. And of course, there's no services, there's no food. And they're effectively told, what do you mean there's no food? There's living food all around you. Effectively, you need to eat each other. And whoever wins after you eat each other, we will find a way to make life habitable on the planet. It's just rough. Soylent Green are people. Keith Alcock. Keith Alcock. I'm sorry, I'm being vulgar. Keith, thank you, man. I appreciate it. In fact, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for this. I really do. I'm going to end this. I am dragging ass. By the way, Garland and I will be doing the show this evening at 2 p.m., I believe. In fact, we're going to be doing it every Friday at 2 p.m. So definitely look out for that. You guys have a fantastic day. By the way, still doing chess. So I have my first chess lesson that is coming up on Monday. I don't know if he's going to do that live. We're probably going to do that in private. I'll see if he wants to do that one live for the audience. Maybe a little weird to do that right off the bat. And if it sucks, it's going to lose business. So it's kind of a risk. It's like risking it all. But that first chess lesson is going to take place. I guess he's going to be my guinea pig as I fine tune the process of doing those. Feel free. If you guys, like I said, if you want to stop the bullies, if you want to be able to go to the chess park and dominate, if you want to be a man in front of your woman, it's nothing more manly than beating the shit out of somebody in chess. And your woman is standing there and she has this look in her eye like, he's going to get some tonight. He's going to get some tonight. Or the other contrary one where she sees you get hammered and she doesn't even get in the car with you. She just gets in the back seat. If you want to avoid that, my chess lessons. Nothing more manly than a guy who can kick ass at chess. Nothing more manly. All right, I'm going to end this. I'm going to say like, I'm going to say share, and I am going to say subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys at 2 p.m. this evening. You guys have a fantastic day. Jamal Thomas Morning Show, episode 74. Signing off. Have a good one all.